Hey guys, if you're on Twitter, do me a favor, check out the Pokemon Retro Twitter page and hit that follow button. Thanks. The starter Pokemon. For many people, these starter Pokemon are an icon that symbolize a person's very first adventure and newfound love for Pokemon games. I myself can still remember my first starter, a Squirtle, in Pokemon Red, or my first level 100 Pokemon being Typhlosion in Pokemon Crystal. Expansions of the main series game has brought about new generations of Pokemon, giving players much more variety, and made the ever-popular question of what's your favorite starter even harder to answer. While some starters are definitely better than others, Bulbasaur, many of us still find it very hard to decide. Sometimes we even choose the lesser ones for the sake of the challenge. Either way, choosing a starter has always been a tough decision for players and characters in the anime alike. But do all people get the choice of their starter? This may seem like an obvious question, but evidence in the Pokemon world does not give us a clear answer, and that's what we are going to investigate today. There are a lot of trainers in the Pokemon world, some of which may not have the luxury of living in the same town as a Pokemon professor. Take the fan favorite, youngster Joey, or even the Shorts kid. Where did they get their Pokemon if not from a professor? While top tier Rattatas are nothing to scoff at, if Joey got his first Pokemon from a professor, why did he not get a traditional starter? Also, what about the notorious ace trainers? While it's safe to assume they have taken a long journey to get where they are, did they start off in the same way as our characters like Ash, Gary, and others? And that also leads us to criminal masterminds and visionaries like Maxie and Giovanni. Did they start off as 10-year-olds leaving their hometowns to go on a Pokemon journey? What caused them to deviate from their journey? Or had they always just merely used Pokemon as instruments conducive to their evil plans? Well, let's take a look. According to Bulbapedia, in the anime, upon their 10th birthday, youths can register for a Pokédex and pick up a starter Pokemon from the local Pokemon professor or Pokemon Center free of charge. And in the games, it is said that starter Pokemon are extremely rare, which explains why we cannot really find them in the wild. And yet we find players like the man in Victory Road who also have starter Pokemon in their party. Are we to assume that they started off in a journey similar to ours? If not, how do other people start off on their journey? Let's remember, in the Pokemon world, it is considered dangerous to go out in the wild without a Pokemon by your side. So do people, implying that people either are given starters or put themselves at risk to catch their first Pokemon. If that didn't muddy up things enough, let's check out characters like Giovanni and Oak. In Pokemon Origins, Giovanni battles Red and reminisces of a time where he had the same passion as Red. We even see a young Giovanni training a Charmander himself, implying that he may have started on a similar journey like Red and all the characters in the video games. Also worth noting is when Professor Oak is commissioning Red and Blue to complete the Pokédex in Pokemon Origins, he talks about completing the Pokédex as a long-time dream he has had since he was a young trainer, implying that he may have started off on his own long journey himself. We also see other people talk about Professor Oak as a very serious trainer. For example, in Pokemon Red, we see Agatha talk about Professor Oak being a very serious trainer before concerning himself with completing the Pokédex and other Pokemon research. Also, in the first generation games via glitch, you can battle Professor Oak with some very, very, very tough Pokemon. In conclusion, while there is no way to tell for sure, perhaps there are a few different ways to start one's Pokemon journey. There are many sources that point to the idea that trainers receive a starter when they are ready and set off on their journey. But it doesn't really seem to be the case always in the Pokemon world. Perhaps starter Pokemon are a luxury for beginning trainers that are fortunate enough to live near a Pokemon professor or to find one in the wild. Perhaps other trainers who are not so lucky rely on others to catch them a non-starter Pokemon to start their journey, like old youngster Joey and his Rattata. Perhaps aspiring trainers put themselves in danger trying to catch their very first Pokemon. It seems that there is simply no right answer to this question, and there may not be a specific procedure for trainers beginning their journey. I would love to hear your guys' opinion if you have one, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below.